This is Vibe Science, a top 100 wellness podcast presented by the RAD Cast Network, breaking wellness barriers and making health truly personal. Here are your hosts, Ryan Alford and Chris Hansen.
Hello, and welcome to Vibe Science. We're always here to take you to your highest vibe, mind, body, energy. It's all about blending the best of modern medicine with the best in alternative wellness and techniques. Joined by, as always, by my good friend and co-host, Chris Hansen. What's up, Chris?
Good afternoon, big dog. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm ready to talk some therapy, some hormone therapy. We got my friend, Josh Felber. He's the host of a show you may have heard of, Money Making Bank TV. And hey, I just learned this myself. Emmy award-winning Josh Felber, and he's his latest venture is Bio Longevity Labs. That's what we're going to talk about today. But Josh, good to have you, brother.
Thanks, man. Awesome to be on the show. Appreciate it, Ryan and Chris.
Yeah, man.
Our first Emmy Award winner. Big deal. Shit.
Well, yeah, awesome. Man. There we go.
There you go. Well, for our audience sake, you can't just say Emmy Award. It may be somewhat unrelated or related, I don't know, to what we'll talk about today. But what did we win the Emmy? The two Emmys I heard.
It's for the
yeah.
So Peter Diamandis, so he kind of was the one that spearheaded, I don't know, 6-8 years ago, the X Prize. And so they were trying to come up with a way to entice or encourage people to, the whole thing with Elon Musk and the rockets going up and all that. So the X Prize kind of spearheaded that whole movement. And they came up with this offer of, offering $1 million to a group, to invest into their, rockets and stuff. So the documentary was all on Peter Diamandis and his background. And he has a, huge longevity, summit every year, 360 Abundance out in California and everything. And so, the whole, documentary was on that, and it ended up winning 2 Emmys overall. So it was cool. I was just an executive producer, so I didn't get to do anything too amazing and exciting, but
hey, it's still good. It's good.
The video guys and the crew, those are the rock stars. So
yeah. Still a good moniker and a good a fun venture, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
fun to do. So
definitely,
that's cool, man. I know making bank is part of the day job, but how long have you been in longevity? Have you always been sort of in that sort of longevity mindset space, or is that a newer thing for you in adult life, or where does that passion come from?
Yeah, I mean, I think for myself, I've always been around health and wellness. I started back in the day CrossFit, when it was the old CrossFit website, when it was blue and the white text, and when you go to copy it, you try to paste it, and it print it, you couldn't see the letters, the workouts. So you had so I started doing way back when, and transitioned over the years, and I've owned CrossFits back in the day, and built some of the largest ones in the US for it. And then, always ate healthy, tried to be healthy all the time as much as I could. And, we had a big health and wellness company making natural dental care products that we did an exit of, about 10 months ago. And just trying to figure out kind of what that next step in that next venture was. And part of over the last probably 24 months, I started really diving more into the longevity side of stuff. And I was, turning 51 and wanted to figure out all right, I had friends around me that seemed like they were healthy, but then all of a sudden they just died out of nowhere. My other friend down the street, he's super healthy, skinny, like normal kind of skinny looking dude, nothing, like overweight or anything. Found out he had to have a triple bypass. He was like crazy blocked. And so you kind of start thinking, it's like, okay, what can I do? Or how can I even figure out, what are those steps that have to happen that make sure I'm, optimally, my health is optimized. And I got 3 kids and my wife and stuff. So I want to make sure I'm there, for a while, for them, at least till 150.
Yeah.
They'll put up with me that long. So,
we didn't get to that, which one of that with these, thyroid or what controls that? The 150 marker. Yeah. What hormone is that? Sign us up for that. We'll take that one. The 150,
the
hormone
the
150
peptide.
Peptide.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so funny, the peptide word. I don't know why. It's like, I feel like I'm back in the laboratory here. Our peptide, our beakers, and our peptides. I don't know. I go back to like the laboratory,
science,
which it is.
Yeah,
it is
a science class.
But it is kind of fun. I mean, then you're just like seeing if as a kid, you're just trying to get the volcano to explode, right?
That's right.
Where's the baking soda and peroxide or whatever it is? And now we get to like sort of formulate and learn about these peptides. That's what I love about self-help. And, what we're trying to do with this show is empowerment and knowledge. It's because, we need doctors and we need experts to sort of guide us, and we need to be looking at these markers, but knowledge is power, and understanding the innovations that are happening with these substances and chemicals and peptides and all that are accessible. And I think that's, again, back to empowering people with knowledge to then make choices for themselves. And it sounds like that's what you guys are doing a lot with bio longevity labs and all that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was one of the things you mentioned, getting the right information out there to people. So I launched a website called All About Peptides. So it's turning into a huge media center for research and people to go figure out more information on peptides, what to do, and that whole process. And so that one's a newer venture that we've recently done, but we got populated with tons of content and research articles. Everything is written by researchers and just really growing that side of it to give you a go-to hub to get more information on peptides and longevity and health optimization. So,
yeah, I still think there's sort of this cloud of mystery. Like I think people are obviously aware of the weight loss peptide stuff, but maybe talk about, your knowledge level with peptides in general and, what's happening with the research in that space and what's opening up these, opportunities for people to sort of learn more, experiment more, those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, people are starting to find out more about it and kind of becoming more familiar with Wegovy and tirzepatide and semaglutides. So those are kind of a lot of the big main weight loss, the GLP-1s they're called, those kind of curb the hunger. Tirzepatide is a double antagonist, so that one kind of curbs hunger, but then also helps from a metabolic standpoint somewhat. And then you have other ones that are coming out that are in trials like retatrutide, which is a triple antagonist. And then they're working on quad antagonists as well. And what those do, besides the weight loss and the metabolic and all that, they also help so you don't have muscle loss. So a lot of people, and that was kind of the biggest problem when doctors are going out and just prescribing the GLP-1s, the semaglutides and Wegovys and all that to everybody. They're not giving them a program to actually follow. You got to work out, you got to lift, you got to also eat protein, and they're not telling them, like, if you're not, you got to get a gram of protein per body pound if you're on a GLP-1. Like, if not, you will lose muscle, and it's just, that's just what happens. But if you do it right and you have a process and a program that you follow from people that are actually informed, not just a doctor that might want to prescribe you something. And, there actually can be super beneficial. Another big popular one is BP 157. People heard the rage on that, like, injuries, you injure your shoulder. A good friend of mine in our Krav Maga class, ended up tearing, supraspinatus or something on back here on his shoulder, and was going to have to go in and have surgery. I was like, get some BP 127, TB 500, and a couple other things. And he started doing injections right there by it. Went in to go have the surgery, and it literally went from, like, I don't know, let's just call it like a millimeter down to like a quarter of a millimeter or something.
Wow.
But I mean, it healed up that much in 8 weeks because that was how long before you could even get in to get surgery and stuff. And, so they went in and just ended up cleaning it out and everything, the area around it and all. But I mean, there's a huge potential with what peptides and everything can bring, to somebody right now these days. And the market's growing with amazing new, opportunities of products out there. I know we were talking real quick before we jumped on and stuff. And there's a new one called Sloop, SLUPP332. And it's a compound. It mimics, the benefits of exercise, technically without needing physical activity. But you got to get out and still got to work out. I mean, but it'll increase the level of what you're doing when you're working out. But just like in the University of Florida just did a huge study recently in the last 12 months. And the obese mice lost 12% of their body weight. Endurance increased. They could run 70% longer and 45%, further. So there's some really cool stuff that's, coming down the pipe, overall.
When does that come out? The SLUPP?
You can actually get it now. Yeah.
Okay.
There's some different liquid forms and things that are out there that I've seen some different research companies have.
Are you guys carrying it at Bio Longevity Labs?
So we'll actually have a research product of it, pretty soon. Ours will be stacked with some other stuff. So, people that are researchers can, utilize that for any of their experiments or things like that they're working on. And it'll be a capsule. They just would then utilize the in a capsule form.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. How long has Bio Longevity Labs been around?
So the e-commerce company side of it is newer on that side, but we have done 2014 is when the company was initially started in the supplement space, and then we transitioned over to working with more health practitioners, so supplying them with larger quantities of peptides and things like that, and then so now we've launched the actual direct to individual researcher side of it.
If there's one, and that was probably a good one that you brought up, but like you think about the impact that the GLP-1s have had, on weight loss and the dramatic effect. What's, not necessarily weight driven, but what's like and you've named a couple, but like what's something that would surprise someone at its effectiveness in whatever it is?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we talked about the BP157 and stuff, but I think another really good one, is, SS31. It's a metabolic enhancer and it actually can help, has a direct effect with weight loss because it's increasing the metabolic rate, within, the cells and things. So that's a good one from that standpoint. Everybody's kind of heard about the whole, orange man syndrome kind of thing. There's two different ones called melatan 2, which if you use that, you get super orange skin. And, but there's also one called melatan 1, which is actually a better version, which will increase the uptake of when you're out in the sun right on your skin. So you can, somebody that's working on it with research and stuff, you can utilize like 250 micrograms, for example, sub-Q, and then it would create a nice tanning effect just from going out in the sun a couple times. And you don't have that orange glow. You don't have that weird look to you with the melatan 1.
Like, does it have to be like when the UV's high or just like in general?
Just in general, as long as there's sun out and stuff. Yeah. So a lot of people will use it, 2 or 3 times a week year round. And it keeps you have like a base tan. And then when you get to go to the beach or wherever, it just helps enhance that overall.
Hey, you don't even have to go no more tanning beds.
No, yeah. I mean, if you jump in one, it'll enhance it even though.
I'm about to say, there you go.
Yep.
And that's the new suntan lotion.
Right. Yeah. And and it's good because it's helping you, it's helping absorb the good UV and the part that's good for you, and which will help increase vitamin D and all the other benefits and stuff as well.
Oh, that's great. Ride the tide, baby.
That's right.
Tide. That's cool. I had not heard of SS31. I am looking around on your website, Bio Longevity Labs, out of stock. What are we going to do here?
Yeah, we have
researchers can't research. Come on, Josh, we got to get it in stock.
Yeah. No, there'll be more, and it's coming. Our manufacturers in New Jersey, so we have a bunch getting shipped right now to our warehouses. How
does that work? With the website and stuff, do you guys you guys sell through stuff pretty quickly?
Yeah, we do. We'll run a promotion or different like a different group of people of researchers or practitioners or somebody. They'll buy a big bulk of it, and so it kind of takes a big inventory out, and so we just gotta replenish it and stuff. So
that was interesting. I had never heard of the regenerative, or right where you have a muscle issue. I'm thinking my wife. She had, labrum surgery, shoulder surgery on one shoulder. And they've said that eventually she's probably going to knee on the other. And I'm like, now can we peptide her into not having to have shoulder surgery?
Potentially, yeah, you could, it could definitely help for sure. Mm-hmm. It just depends on the x-rays and, how bad it is and things overall. But, I've seen people, like I said, you can Google it. There's people, I just saw a guy the other day. He was talking about using the BP127 with some tesamorelin and TB500. And he was doing, he had torn his Achilles and was doing the injections. And I think it took 4 weeks, and he did 2 injections a day, and it totally repaired it. So,
wow, that's crazy,
right?
Like miracle.
It's the power of, we already have peptides in our body anyway. So all we're doing is we're increasing the levels, of those peptides, in that specific area or overall for inflammation in certain areas and things like that. But, encouraging the body to heal, quicker and faster.
What's your opinion on things like NAD?
Yeah. I like NAD. I've used it. A lot of times the supplements may or may not do a whole lot. But I've done 1,000 milligrams of NAD IV direct. Used to go once a month just to get it and stuff. I think from a longevity perspective, it's great. I think a lot of people that have never done it probably should. Obviously they'll start you off small when you do it, and you can kind of titrate up from there. But
could you feel it, or could you tell a difference when you took it?
I did. Yeah. Some people don't. But usually you'll feel kind of like a euphoric feeling after for 4 or 5 hours, overall and stuff. But it was more from the longevity and the benefits that it provides overall, within the body and everything.
Yeah. Chris, questions, thoughts for Josh?
Yeah, I'm a peptide researcher.
Chris is an avid researcher.
I am a researcher. I might not have a title from a university, but that's...
Or a lab rat.
Yeah, you guys have some lab rats.
I've got the best education, which is lived experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got introduced to peptides, I think, in 2018 from a doctor in Texas I was working with. And mine was actually to increase appetite. My problem is always eating enough. So I have the opposite problem of 90% of the country right now, right? Everyone else is trying to lose weight. I'm trying to gain it. So on top of that, and like most peptides, right, there's tons of benefits. I know it helps produce more of the natural growth hormone. So, and I think I'm 35. So I feel like coming up, there was a lot of stigmas with hormones, peptides, whatever. I think peptides kind of opened that door for me as far as biooptimizing to get more comfortable with the hormones and everything else. And I think it's an exciting time. I mean, I think there's so many amazing things. I think GLP-1s are obviously the most big scale example we can see, right? Because peptides have been around, and I know in the fitness community with like BPC 157, I actually just got some of that in the TB 500 for my shoulder. Haven't tried it yet, but I mean, I've heard so many people say positive things about it where I'm like, all right, why am I suffering every time and dealing with this when on YouTube? And I encourage everyone, go look this stuff on YouTube. There's tons of videos, tons of educational information out there, tons of things to make you feel comfortable and really learn. And kind of what you said, Ryan, I'd never heard of injecting directly at, site of injury, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but there's benefit whether you do sub-Q somewhere else or I mean, it's probably more beneficial right on the injury, but you're still going to benefit overall, even if you're not targeting a specific area, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, hey, I'll report back. This kind of reminded me I should probably start that. I've been taking it easy instead. And I'm like, let me just see. But no,
you're going to have to send us your researchers' best recommendations.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Some, our research scholars can exchange information.
Yeah. Information.
We'll get the Vibe Science Laboratory involved.
Up and running.
Up and running.
Yeah.
with peptides.
With peptides. And I'll get a white coat and everything.
Nice.
I'll ask you this, because this is what I've been asked, right? These are kind of newer things. Is there any documented cases of any negative side effects from any of these? Anything drastically negative?
I mean, from obviously, it's something you always want to check with your doctor first.
Sure.
And like I said, these are not research peptides are not for human consumption. So they are
in the animal studies.
Yeah. But I mean, only reports are more like stinging at the injection site, maybe some redness or some puffiness. And a lot of times that has to do with, a lot of the different peptide companies use a filler, like it's called mannitol. And so that will create, sometimes like a headache or, redness or, at BioLongevity Labs, ours are 100%, filler free. So we don't use any of the fillers. So when you get it, it looks like there's like a speck of dust in there compared to some that look like they're like a nice thick white powder. That's how you can tell the difference. The big thick white powder is usually mannitol or sucrose or something like that. The ones that have barely any, just like a snowflake of dust in the bottom, those are usually the ones that are just lyophilized and pure freeze dried with nothing else overall. But I mean, I think one of the big things, even before you go there, is like, you should always, like I think we talked a little bit offline, was like, getting your blood checked, like knowing what your hormone levels are, where you are and stuff. Because if you're a mess inside, it doesn't matter. You take peptides, most of the times they may not be effective because your hormones are off. Maybe your glucose is off. You're just like a flaming dumpster fire inside, and you just got to get optimized there first. Then, then these other things will help as you add them in to, heal and lose weight and feel better and all those kind of things as well. So
what else do you guys have coming out or down the line at BioLongevity Labs, Josh?
So, I mean, like I said, initially right now our main focus has been getting the SLU PP332 out, supplement stack that we have, that we're rolling out. We have some, other, products that we're looking at right now, that we don't currently carry. So we're trying, to decide if we look at the market, bioavailability of them stuff right now, just to see. So, But main thing is just really getting the Sleep 332 out, because I think that's a huge one. And I think it's going to really make a big impact for a lot of people in what they're doing.
Do y'all have a release date?
I always hate to say any day, because it's one of those things. It's like we all of our bioregulators. So the bioregulators that we have are supplements, and those come direct from Russia. They've been used over there for 40, 50 years. And Dr. Kevinson had created them and figured all this out, and he's used them on Russians all over. And there's a big study that's been going on here in the US as well. But they come from overseas, and like half of our order made it through customs, and the other half is still in customs. It's been like 75 days. And, I keep getting an email back. I email UPS customs, and they're like, oh, any day. And I'm like, come on, guys, you're killing me. So same with the Sleep 332. We're waiting on the final the final sign off from our manufacturing facility, and then they'll ship out. So,
Josh, I know you obviously you've got longevity, techniques and things that you do, but I think mindset and success strategies and stuff that you have and deploy. Can you share any of those or tips maybe for our audience, over and above, it's great that there's, we've got peptides and hormones and all these things, but, it's such a holistic approach now with both mind, body, energy. Any tips, tricks, things, not tricks as much as just, creating good habits?
Yeah. No, it's, and a lot of times you don't even really need any of that stuff. You getting up every morning, getting outside first thing, and just looking at the sun, getting the sun in your eyes, is huge. That can set you up for energy for your day, just clarity, things like that. Going through breathing exercises and stuff is super easy to do. You can download the Wim Hof app on your phone, go through here and follow it for 4 minutes. It's super short, and come out with tons of energy overall. I love the cold plunge. I've been cold plunging forever. So I go down we have one in our basement, go down 37 degrees. I jump in for about 4 to 5 minutes. And so that's a good energy boost. And then infrared sauna is always amazing to help 25 to 40 minutes, every, 4 or 5 times a week is great as well too. So, and then exercise, really making sure you're exercising, you're getting, as you get older, we want to make sure we're getting enough cardio in from that standpoint. Also lifting, over the years. I used to do CrossFit. I used to own CrossFits. I still do it every, not as much. It's always a little bit harder on the joints as you get up in age, but, figuring out which type of strength routine is going to work best to encourage muscle development and growth and things like that for you as you get older is huge. And then, it all comes down to what we put in our bodies. With all the crap and stuff and the horrible pesticides. And I just read about a study the other day. They took these non-organic strawberries, put them in a juicer, took the juice, measured the level of glyphosate. Glyphosate. There we go. In there. And it was 10 times greater than the initial amount that they sprayed. They were able to take the juice, go back and spray the same plants again and that's what people are eating. And that's the non-organic. So, if you're out at dinner or wherever, and that's why men's testosterone levels are down like significantly. People now that are in their 20s have a testosterone level of 200 to 300. Whereas, I'm, like you said, I'm 51. So, normal used to be 1500. So, when I was in my 20s. So, we have to try to make sure we're eating right, we're detoxing, we're staying healthy and optimizing what we do. And then all this other stuff we can add will even make it better. It'll, for us overall. So.
Yeah, man. Practical advice, it doesn't have to be complicated. It's just
super simple. And it doesn't cost anything.
Get outside, breathe, exercise a little bit.
Yep.
Watch for, the foods we eat a little bit.
For sure.
The client, her brand is stop and read the labels. And it's like, literally it's the stuff that they put in, processed food. If you stop and read it and you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what our kids have always been brought up. We'll go to the store and they're looking at it and they're like, they'll put it back on the shelf because they know. Every once in a while they grab something. I'm like, all right, guys, you missed that one. But
yeah, man,
at least they're like ahead of 90% of everybody.
Where can everybody keep up with what you guys are doing with Bio Longevity Labs and just in general?
Yeah, man. I mean, all of our social handles are Bio Longevity Labs. You can check out there. If you want our hub that has tons of research content and everything, it's all about peptides. All social handles are the same.com. And then you can just follow me at Josh Felber everywhere on social. So feel free to reach out. Any questions, things like that. So happy to answer. And on Bio Longevity Labs, I know we have a free guide right now to give you it's like the top 5 research peptides I think you get, or the top 10 optimization things for 2025. I don't know. We have 2 different ones, but one of them's there. It's a free one. So you just email and we'll send it to you. And hey, you got a lot of information. So
there you go. Go check that out. We'll put links to all those things in the show notes and everything else. But hey, Josh, look forward to partnering and stay connected. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, awesome, man. Appreciate it, Ryan. Chris, thanks, guys.
Chris, any final words today?
I'm just stoked. I'm going to go tell all my research buddies at the gym to listen to this episode and get educated.
Yes, exactly. You know where to find us. We're at vibescience.com. We'll have links, like we mentioned, on here to all the stuff. For Chris Hansen, I'm Ryan Alford. We'll see you next time on Vibe Science.
The content discussed on this show is provided for reference and educational purposes. The content is not an attempt to practice medicine or provide specific medical advice. Always consult your personal physician for medical advice and proper diagnosis.
Thanks for listening. This is Vibe Science. To learn more or watch full episodes, visit vibesciencepodcast.com. Here's to discovering your highest vibe